1976 Simpsons-Sears solid-state television model number 14072. I went to this thrift store in this small town a few times before realizing it had a basement with way more stuff. And one of the things I found down there was this old tube TV. And the coolest part was it has a handle. So it's basically portable? You would just carry it around like a laptop? I feel like this would have been a classic kitchen TV where you would watch your morning cartoons eating cereal. I mentioned before I love knobs, and this one has the kind that you pull on to turn on the TV, and then you actually turn it up for the volume. Beside that, you got the tint. You can see that knob hasn't survived quite as good. The color knob still has a bit of a design on it. I really like the font of the labels, very vintage. A really cool thing I realized it had when I got home was this cool saturation one-button color button. It sort of normalizes the color on the image. I really like this lip along the bottom too. Next we got the speaker, just the one. It's very loud though. TV speakers back then had a very distinct sound and it was loud and clear.
That's why we have to feed them like this. She had them all attacking the fences when the feeders came.
The fences are electrified though, right?
That's right.
Here are the channel knobs. You got VHF, which is very high frequency, mainly used for lower channels, and UHF, which is very high frequency, mainly used for higher channels. VHF was the more common one, with channels 3 and 4 being the main channels for VCRs and video games. The glass on the screen is a bit convex. It sort of bubbles out a little bit. Definitely not a flat screen. I'm a big fan of the fake wood grain on the top and the sides. I really wish wood grain on electronics would make a comeback. So how about this handle? You basically push down on the one side and it pops up the other side so you can pull it out and grab it. I thought it was the coolest and I had to buy the TV just for that reason. It was also only $8. Next we got the top back of the TV where it sort of slopes down. There's 3 knobs. First, this is the brightness adjustment. I like how it's spelt different. Then we have the contrast knob. And lastly, the AFC on and off switch. AFC stands for Automatic Frequency Control, sometimes known as AFT, which is Automatic Fine Tuning. AFC was mainly used in radios and television sets around the mid-20th century. Now, I didn't really know what this meant, but according to Wikipedia, it's a method or circuit to automatically keep a resonant circuit tuned to the frequency of the incoming radio signal. This was phased out in the 70s after receivers began to be designed using frequency synthesizer circuits, which synthesized the receiver's input frequency from a crystal oscillator using the vibrations of an ultra-stable quartz crystal. These maintained sufficiently stable frequencies that AFCs were no longer needed. Kinda over my head, but there are videos out there that do explain it. Anyway, moving on, you got your UHF and VHF antenna screws for coax or rabbit ears. Looks like UHF is connected to the inside. Would that mean that it's internally hooked up to the built-in rabbit ears antennas that we see towards the back? Not too sure, but with these frequencies now being reused for other things like cell phones, can't really test to see if it works if there's no analog signals being broadcasted anymore. You can see there's lots of vents because this baby does get warm. You can see a few on the actual back here. Besides that, we got the power cable. It's got some nice prongs so you can roll it up, adding to its portability. Under where the power cable comes out, we have the reset button if set fails to operate. With that, it has 2 other warnings. Manufactured in September 1976. I love when they give the month as well as the year. Next to that, it sort of protrudes out a bit, and on there we have the model, chassis, and serial numbers. Simpsons-Sears Ltd, Ontario, Canada, a certified sticker, and more black writing under that saying more letters and numbers, which I don't really know what they mean, but also reminding you that if you want to get parts or service, to give this information. So nice. Made in Japan. Next to that, we have the blue, green, and red screen adjustment dials. The holes are pretty deep, so you will need a screwdriver to reach the dials if you want to adjust them. Looks like there's still a cobweb in the red screen hole, so it hasn't been adjusted for a long time. On the other side, there's two more for G drive and B drive. I tried looking this up and I couldn't really find out what it meant. Maybe someone can leave a comment to confirm, but I think it has something to do with the grayscale adjustments. At the bottom, it's got some info, even the address of the Simpsons-Sears company in Toronto. Under those prongs for the power cable, there's a few other adjustment dials. We got the AGC delay, sub bright, the height, the V-lin, and the V-hold. Lastly, a focus adjustment dial in the bottom right corner. I also want to show you the side so you can see how thick this thing is. No flat screen here. It's also got some weight to it, but it's pretty easy to carry around. Great for watching VHS like Jurassic Park, or streaming services like Netflix or YouTube. But seriously though, playing retro gaming systems like Sega Genesis or Nintendo looks great on here, and it's pure nostalgia.
She had them all attacking the fences when the feeders came.
The fences are electrified, though, right?
That's right, but they never attacked the same place twice. They were testing the fences for weaknesses systematically.